Hello there everybody, this is Krista and welcome back to Adventures in Metaphysics. And we are here with some June favorites today. I can't believe it's already July. I've not even registered that it's summer yet, and here we are halfway through. So yeah, that's all I have to say about that. Summer is not my favorite season. There are things that I love that come with summer, but I tend to be a fall-winter person. I don't like the heat. That's really all it is. I don't like the heat. I easily sunburn. But there are good things that come with summer that I do enjoy, and we'll talk about that. But I've got a lot to show and share with you all, so I think we should just get right into it. So I usually start off with favorite memories from the month. And I'm not gonna lie, June was a bit of a rough month. We had some rough things going on this month that, I don't need to name all of the above. It doesn't mean that I can't find some good things. I think that's what I love most about doing these excitements videos, favorites, whatever I call them, is that even if there's some things kind of trying me, I can reflect on the month and it force isn't the right word, it doesn't force me, it allows me to reflect on the month in a more positive way if that's not even the headspace I'm really in. But yes, some interesting things going on this month that, again, I won't get into all the details. Probably the biggest one is we've had some book challenges going on at the library, which, again, I won't get into all the details. I'm sure if you've been following the news for the last year at all, you know what I mean, at least here in the US. So that's been going on. That's all I'll say about that. I've been called some interesting things. But regardless, it's not stopped me from doing what I'm doing and following my own mission and the library's mission, so that's all I'll say about that. Anyways, so favorite memories. We're gonna go on the positive. That's what I was trying to say, is that I like that this space allows me to reflect on the positive even when the month has been hard, and I think a lot of us have been feeling that way this month. I don't know what it is in the air, and certainly, recent occurrences, I think has a lot of us feeling pretty heavy. So this is not to say that I'm trying to gloss over any of that, but sometimes I think it's just nice for our own well-being to look at the things we love and remember even the good things that have happened, even when things seem a little bleak. Can you tell I've not made a list or written anything out for this video? Usually I'll list things out for myself because I get lost and rambly. I've not done that today. So that's gonna be what it's gonna be. Where do I want to start? I've just piled things around me. So my first favorite memory, I know, is the gardening I've been doing. Now, it's not any sort of beautiful gardening, I guess you could say. More just growing some vegetables here and there. We're gonna see if I'm good enough to insert some pictures. I've been using a new video editor since I've been using this camera instead. I'm gonna try and insert pictures. Don't quote me on it. I'm gonna try. If so, here are some pictures of the things that are growing. My favorite thing is I have some accidental pumpkins growing. What I mean by that is that when we moved into this house in late November, and the previous owner had a pumpkin on their front porch, I'm assuming from October, and when I went to pick it up to just place it somewhere else so that the animals could eat it, it had already rotted. So it was pretty much rotted to the front porch, so it was impossible for me to pick up without making a huge mess, so I just kind of kicked it over into the garden next to the front door. Turns out, pumpkins reseed and will start growing again if the seeds remain there, and they did. So I've got my own pumpkin patch. Unintentionally, but it's bringing me so much joy. The leaves are ginormous right now, and I've got my first few flowers. They're not ones I'm expecting pumpkins off of. It's a bit too early. But it's very exciting. I'm hoping I can put in a picture. I'm gonna move to the side so that maybe, this is gonna look so stupid if I didn't get a picture in here. Anyway, we're gonna see if we figure that out. That's been really exciting, but other than that, I've been growing a few other things intentionally. I've got zucchinis. I should be getting a lot of cucumbers, which is exciting. Tomatoes, eggplants. My eggplant grew really well last year. I'm curious to see how it is this year, but so far I think the zucchini is gonna do really well, which is also exciting. Other gardening things is that in the beginning of May, Paul and I were gifted from some of our friends an arrow garden. If you haven't seen one of those before, it's basically this indoor little gardening unit, I guess you could call it, where it's got a grow light on it and you put these pods in and it grows right on your kitchen counter. So we've been growing a lot of herbs in there, and it's just been the most exciting thing to watch because with the grow light, everything grows really fast and big. So I just collected some more. I've been collecting herbs all month. It's been kind of crazy, but I just really chopped it down yesterday. And I got all this basil that I'm drying it out because, again, it's more than what we know to do with almost. Thyme, I don't know if you can see behind me. You can't. But a bunch of mint as well. It's been really cool. I've also discovered that the kit came with these pre-made pods that the company puts together, but you can also plant your own seeds in it. So I've started doing that as well, which has been really, really cool. It's just another fun thing to watch happen, and it'll be something we can keep going no matter what season it is, and have these fresh herbs right on our kitchen counter. So that's been a lot of fun. Do I have another memory I want to share? Yes, we're gonna put this in memories. My last favorite memory was being sent a prototype deck of Song of the Grandmothers by Kara Simons and illustrated by Mari in the Sky, which I have posted a full flip through of this. If you haven't seen that, definitely check that out. It's under my walkthroughs playlist. And this was just the most exciting moment because I have been such a fan of Kara's for the longest time, since she was putting out her first decks on her own. And just following along with her progress has been so cool and so rewarding. And her decks are just some of my absolute favorites. And so when she asked if she could send along this prototype deck, I just about lost my mind. And it's just been such a cool thing, and I just think it's one of those things that shows me how amazing this whole tarot community is and how cool it is to connect with people who have the same interests in you. And I don't know, everyone has just been so kind, and I just feel like I'm shown that again and again and again. But yes, this was certainly a favorite memory, and also can be included in a later category I will do of decks I'm excited to work with for the month of July, because this is definitely going to be one of those. I haven't put this away since I got it. It's just so wonderful, so definitely check out that walkthrough if you haven't seen it yet. I've also seen Allie at Totero has a walkthrough that she just posted. I can't think if I've seen any others, but I know she has one up as well that you can check out. Alrighty. Oh my gosh, I've got one more. Hold on. This memory is as of today, so it's technically July, but we're counting it since I didn't make this video yet. And that is that on Instagram, do I want to include any sort of backstory? I feel like I need details. So, on Instagram, Rachel and I share an account, Adventures in Metaphysics. So over here on YouTube, it's pretty much just me, but we started on Instagram together. which has been so much fun and just a really cool thing for us to collaborate on as friends. But I started my Etsy shop, Crochet Witch Wears, a few months back, and I kind of was just using our joint account to post about that and post sort of things around it, but it's kind of just been feeling like too much in one space. So I wanted to have my own account, my own space to sort of post things about my crochet projects and the readings that I do and things of that sort. So this morning I created a new account under the name that my Etsy shop is, which is Crochet Witch Wears on Instagram. So I will leave a link to that below for you to check out. As of right now, this YouTube channel is staying under the name Adventures in Metaphysics. Subject to change, perhaps, if I feel like I want to put all of my things under, I suppose, a name that is my own creation. I just don't like too much change at once. That's really all it is. So I'm hoping that's not too confusing. And of course, I will still be present on the Adventures in Metaphysics Instagram, and you're welcome to interact with me there. But I will also have this own sort of more personal to me account as well that I hope you all check out because I'm really excited about it. That being said, my favorite bag that I've made this month is this one that I just posted today, and it's this little frog one. I just think this is the funniest thing in the whole world, and it brings me so much joy. Just this little dopey frog. Cute! Alright, that was my last memory. I almost forgot. So let's go on to my favorite thrift find. Oh, we are having a frog day today. How exciting is that? Because my favorite thrift find this month was this pillow. Have I told you lately that I love you? I found this, my parents were visiting us a few weeks ago, and my mom also loves going to thrift stores, so we went to this one near me where they pretty much sell everything for $1.50. So how could I not? I mean, come on. It speaks for itself. I feel like I don't even have anything else to say. That's all. Alright, favorite crystals. I do have favorite crystals this month. I got this piece of, it was called Fairy Stone, which I've never seen or heard of before, but I thought, when I saw that name, I was interested, of course, because I have a fascination with fairies and love working with them. But I thought this looked like a little, like, form almost, like a little body, doesn't it? So I thought that was really neat because I thought I could look at it as like the shape of a fairy almost. I don't know. I just thought that was so cool. Oh, it kind of looks like a snail. Huh. I thought that was really neat though. And I also got this hagstone, which I was so excited to find. You can't really find these. I don't really live near a beach, but even so, I don't know that these are easily found. That could be totally wrong. Again, I've not really been to a beach near here, because it's not close. I'm peeling a price tag off. So I was excited to see this at my local crystal shop because I've not really seen them before, and it has this really cool hole, and I was reading that supposedly if you look through this hole up at a full moon, it's supposed to sort of give you insight into the fairy realm, and I just love that story and that idea attached to it, so super excited to have these two now. That is my favorite crystal. Do I have anything else to show? Or are we just ready to get into the decks? I think, well, oh. My other interesting purchase from this month was this bone divination set from Wheat and Chaff on Etsy. So she sells them in these old, sort of pill tins. This is Opas tablets for speedy relief of indigestion. Fitting. And they're these, it's this set of painted bones that you can use to make sort of a bone throwing set. You can use these just as you're on their own. There we go. Or you can add more pieces if you would like. I've not played around with this too much, but it is just so beautiful and beautifully done. And what I like, look at this mushroom one. How cute is that? So these are all sheep and deer toe bones. And what I really enjoy about Laura, who is the owner of Wheat and Chaff, is that all of her bones are found out in nature on her hikes. So she goes on a lot of hikes and nature walks, and all of the bones she uses come from that. So you know exactly where these bones are coming from. You know that most likely the creatures died of natural causes, or if not, you know, it's not the creator of this set who did anything to harm these animals. So it really feels more like an honoring of them than anything else, which I really enjoy, because it's something I've been so interested in, osteomancy, bone throwing, but have been hesitant to get anything if I don't know exactly how the bones were found, where they were found. Like, I don't want to get into anything accidentally shady, which Laura's are not. So that is exciting. I've not gotten to play around with them too much, but I'm very excited to learn some more. Now, why do I feel like there's something else I'm missing? I'm not super sure. I think we're just gonna get into the decks now, which is exciting. So I've got a pile here of the decks I was excited to work with, or I loved working with this month, and a pile that I'm excited to work with this July. So Sandy and I over at Exploring Tarot had a little bet going this month, which was so much fun. We had sort of a no deck buy bet, and it wasn't anything, you know, shrouded in shame or anything of that sort. It was purely that we both had a few decks coming in the month of June, and we wanted to make sure we really paid attention and had the time to spend with them without being overwhelmed by anything else new we were getting. So that was a really fun challenge, and so yeah, I just lost my total train of thought. But it was a fun challenge. I've never done something like that before, where I truly spent a month not buying a new deck, and it was really rewarding to just like know that's something I can do if I wanted to. Obviously, like, I can, but you know. I did, however, lose. I did lose the bet because I purchased a copy of the Antique Anatomy like right at the end of the month of June so that I can do a deck mod on it. But other than that, I did not buy a new deck, but technically I lost. I did lose there. So we were very, you know, we didn't have many strict rules. It really was just for fun and just to sort of challenge each other, which was really exciting. So that being said, some of these are new, but other than that, it was kind of about spending time with decks that I already had or that were already coming in. So the first I want to talk about is, I spent a lot of time this month with the totally unofficial Adventure Time tarot deck, which I have shown before, but as I mentioned, you know, this month has been, it's been a doozy. And I just found myself leaning into this deck so much to bring me some comfort and just to do readings on the more difficult things happening with characters that I really know and relate to. As I've mentioned, Adventure Time is a total comfort show for me, so being able to bring that into a tool like tarot has been so incredibly cool and just helpful. Again, in those times when things are just feeling hard and I just want a little bit of fun encasing some of the work I need to do. The other exciting deck that I've been pairing with it that came in from Kickstarter that goes along the same lines is this Divination deck by Quarter Press, and it is the Steven Universe edition, which Steven Universe is kind of my other show that, like Adventure Time, is a total comfort one for me. It just really got me through some difficult times, and I would just kind of go back and forth between Adventure Time and Steven Universe for a really long time, and I still do when I'm just feeling like I need that comfort. So this is an oracle, so I've been pairing it a lot with the Adventure Time deck, and it's like combining the best of both of these worlds, and it's just been really, really cool and helpful. So that is the Steven Universe Divination, and these decks are cool because there's a bunch of different cartoons and shows you can get these decks based off of, and you can kind of build your own big set. This is the only one I have, but I do like when you can kind of customize like that. I think it's really neat. Alrighty. Going off of that comforting theme, I've been working a lot with the Teddy Bear Tarot, which is so cute. It's so cute. It's very Smith-Waite. Oh, look at that card. I love this Queen of Cups so much. It's very, very, very Smith-Waite clone, which is perfect for those times when you're feeling a little bit tender, to have something that, you know, is a system that's very familiar for me, so it's easy for me to read, but with these cute teddy bear characters that bring me endless joy. This is one I found that I just was like carrying around with me everywhere. I just wanted it with me all of the time. And it really just brought me a lot of joy and comfort this month. It reads so well. It's just a beautiful deck. The cardstock is great. I love the backs. How pretty are those? And it just makes me laugh. Like, look at this devil card. I just think that's the funniest thing in the whole world. So this was for sure another favorite. Okay, so the next deck I have to talk about kind of combines favorite deck for the month with favorite book, because I did not read anything this month. So this is gonna be what it is. Well, I guess I read this, but you know, not like a fiction book, I guess. I don't know. Anyways, fourth deck. So this is gonna be a little all over the place. I apologize. The next deck I have to show is the Wildwood Tarot, which, as I've mentioned before, I had this deck very early on in my tarot journey, and it just was too much too soon, so I ended up rehoming it. And was able to get another copy through a trade at the end, maybe early May. But this month I've really started to spend time with it, especially after I've made sort of a connection with the goddess I've been working with through this deck. It's become really important in my spiritual practice, and I've just been loving it. I love how I trimmed it. This deck has been really special, really fast. I love the keywords on the decks as well. I'm so glad I gave this one another chance, because again, it's just been really, what's the word I'm thinking of? Profound, I guess you can say. Now, this deck, of course, comes with a very full guidebook, so this is not to say that I think you need the extra books to read with this deck by any means, and I would say most of the info is right in this one. So I don't know why I felt the need to say that, but that being said, since I've made such a connection with this deck and in a spiritual way, I just wanted to learn more. So I did pick up a copy of A Year in the Wildwood, which takes, oh my gosh, I'm always forgetting the names. It takes the creator's original posts. I guess there was a Facebook group when this deck was being created, and a lot of the interpretations were put in as Facebook posts. So it takes those and puts them into this book format. But what I really enjoy about it is that it takes the cards. So backing up. This deck is broken up into the Wheel of the Year. So it takes each of the cards and puts them at a certain point in the Wheel of the Year. The guidebook that comes with the tarot deck is in the order of how you would usually see it. So we go through the majors and then each minor suit in order. But the cards aren't necessarily dated in order. So what this book does is it puts the cards in sequence according to those dates rather than necessarily by chronological tarot order, if that makes sense. And so, and the interpretations are also a little bit different. I find actually this book puts it a little bit more in sort of a plain speak sort of way. It's a little bit easier for me to understand without needing to read it over a few times. Not to say that this is super complex, but a little bit when you're not used to the writing yet. So I just think this book is really neat, and I'm excited to be using this deck not only in a spiritual way to work with the goddess I have been working with, but also as a bit of a Wheel of the Year practice. It's just been really interesting, and I just feel like it's so different from any other deck in that way. So that has been really cool. That is the Wildwood Tarot. That just also made me remember that I skipped over favorite deck mod, so I guess we'll do that in between so I don't make this so chaotic. Alright, next deck to talk about is my Crimson Asteria Tarot. This has just stolen my absolute heart. It's weird and wonderful and still gives you all of that great tarot symbolism, but pared down. I think that's what I really enjoy about this art style, is that nothing is superfluous. And usually I want all the extras. I'm not typically a fan of a more simplified art style, but for some reason, this is just it for me. If you watch my weekly deck selection videos, this is the first deck ever that was selected 2 weeks in a row, and I've used it so much more beyond that, not necessarily for my morning polls. I just can't put this one down, and I don't intend to anytime soon. Oh, it's just so good. I really didn't think I was going to enjoy the all red, but I really do. And the guidebook is awesome. I just don't have enough good things to say. This one was like a total love at first sight deck. Very unexpectedly. I did not honestly expect to like this as much as I do. So that is the Crimson Asteria Tarot. Alright, we've got 2 more. The next is another deck that I've been using pretty frequently in my deck rotation, and again, it's caught me by a total surprise, and that is the Fairy Forest Oracle by Lucy Cavendish. Now, the first time around, I was so unsure about this deck. Honestly, I thought I was absolutely going to rehome it, at least put it in my little timeout bin. But for some reason, you know what, I didn't love the first 2 readings I had it with, and then the last time I used it that week, it was sort of one of those, wait a minute, moments where it just felt like it finally clicked. And so I wanted to give it another chance, which I did, and I have absolutely loved this deck. Now this is trimmed down, so the cards don't originally look like this, but I really like how it's been trimmed. And yeah, another one where I just feel like I don't have enough good things to say. I never expected to like a deck like this. I'm not usually a big fan of the Blue Angel decks, just honestly purely based on art style. That's really all it is. But I have been so wonderfully surprised by this one, and it's kind of encouraged me to try things out of my usual tastes and comfort zone. I mean, take Crimson Asteria, for example. That is totally outside of my norm, I guess you could say. But yeah, I've just been really loving reading with this one. You know what it is that my other fairy decks feel very tied to spiritual practice for me, and this is one that I love using more for like a morning poll type thing, or just random readings outside of that, where a lot of my other fairy decks I really have tended to dedicate to that spiritual practice. So love that one. Last but not least, we have the Seasons of the Witch Samhain Oracle, absolutely inspired by Jess, who is Empress and Basil. She uses this deck all the time, regardless of the season, and I knew I wanted to get this one, but was just gonna wait until the fall. And then it just kind of came up in a trade. Someone was looking for a deck that I was planning on rehoming, and they had this to trade, so I was like, you know what, why, might as well just get it now. I'll just hold on to it until the fall. And so I put it in a bin I have with my more seasonal decks. Really just the Seasons of the Witch Yule and my Halloween Tarot I just put away until the season is right, so I had it there. And then just seeing her use it all of the time made me really want to take it out, and I just have been so amazed by this oracle. I love the Yule, I really do, but something about the cards in this, I think it could just be that I love Halloween and that season so much, but it feels more generally witchy, or at least how I see witchiness, that I have no qualms using it, in the middle of June like I was doing, where the Yule one doesn't feel quite right. I've just really, really been loving this deck. It's so spooky and amazing. I've paired it a few times with my Dark Mansion Tarot, which was another favorite use from this month. I just didn't want to overwhelm with so many decks, because I haven't gotten to use that one too much, but I love the combination, and yeah, this one has just totally blown me away. I've really been loving this one. So that is the Seasons of the Witch Samhain Oracle. All right, we are up to decks I am excited to work with this coming month. So I have so kindly received some really, really cool decks in trades, or just extras added on with trades, and again, it's those moments that just make me feel so blown away by the kindness of this community and of you all watching. It's been really cool connecting with everyone, and just, again, over this common thing that I'm sure most of us love. I know I love. It's what I spend a majority of my time thinking about, and so getting shown this kindness is still a little bit surreal. So again, as I was saying, since Sandy and I had this sort of no-buy challenge, I don't have any decks here new that I've, purchased. So these are either from trades, or again, those extras so kindly added into these trades, which were total surprises and just really, really neat. So, okay, blabbering is... So the first I have to talk about is the Guided Hand Tarot, which I traded for with Emerald Fern here on YouTube. I got their permission to shout them out a little bit. I don't believe they have videos yet, but are planning to, which I'm very excited about. Anyway, I believe maybe I had a deck that they wanted that I was trading. I'm not super sure. And from their list, they said, listen, I really think you're gonna like this one, so if you want to trade, and again, I've been having such good luck with that I'm not gonna say no, So this deck, I only just opened the package a few days ago, but it is so wacky and wonderful, which I feel like by now is a description I just love. It's this really neat collage style deck. I don't know, I am so interested to try this out. I had never seen it before. And again, I've just been loving those moments of, you know, others saying like, hey, I really think you're gonna like trying this out, because I've been finding my absolute favorites lately that way, with decks I've just never would have tried on my own accord. So it's been super cool, and I was so excited to trade for this one again because I hadn't seen it before, and it just is it's so different. I love collage style decks. I don't have too many of them, and this one just feels so cool and amazing, and I've only really gotten to flip through, but I really like what I've seen so far. So again, I'm really excited to try this one out. If you would like to see a flip through of this deck, definitely let me know. So that is the Guided Hand Tarot, and then in that package, they again, just so kindly added in some other decks. One is the, I forgot to bring it over, Spirit of Cats Oracle, which I've also never seen before. You all know how I feel about cats. Do love them, and this is really a cool one. It's a landscape formatted deck, I guess you could say. I used it yesterday and was really pleasantly surprised with how I read. It actually read in kind of a shadow work sort of way, which was surprising, as I said. But, I mean, so cute. I love the keywords given and the pictures. I'm really excited about this one. And again, something about the landscape format is so interesting. I think it's gonna just visually be really cool with a lot of my tarot decks. So that's the Spirit of Cats, but then also I'm really, really excited to work with the 100 Ink Animals Oracle deck, which is one that has kind of been on and off my list for a while, with no other reasoning than I just kind of have been like, well, like, I have animal decks, like, I shouldn't get another kind of thing, but knowing I would really like this. And I didn't realize there were keywords on these cards, which makes me even more excited. But this one is so cool. There are so many cards, which excites me. This is going to work really, really well in my animal messages readings that I offer. I really can't wait to use it in that way. I will have my Etsy shop linked below, which is where you can find the readings that I offer, as well as the crocheted bags, which is the same name as the new Instagram. Confusing, I apologize. But yeah, I'm really, really excited to start using this one, especially for those animal messages readings, because it just gives such a wide array of animals, but still gives that keyword that I really like to have. So I'm excited about this one, and again, just thank you so much to Emerald Fern. They are so sweet and just took me by such surprise, and I can't wait to try these out. So we've got two more here to show. These were traded with my friend Andy. And the first is the Witch's Wisdom Tarot, which, again, influenced by Jess 100%, but I'm so excited to really get into this deck. It's very different, really goes its own way with the tarot system, but in a way I think I'm really going to enjoy. It just feels magical and tied to how I view the world in that way. I like that it's magic in nature, because that's where a lot of my personal practice is based. And so I just really think it's going to fit into that super well. The readings I've done with it so far have been really incredible, so I'm excited about this one. And last but not least is, again, another deck that Andy just was like, you need to try this. You know, it's one of her favorites, and she had an extra copy, so she's like, I'm just gonna send it for you to try because I think you're really gonna get along with it, and I never in a million years would have thought. I was like, okay, but I don't think you're right on that one. And she was. And that is the Super Lunaris Tarot, which is so out of my usual comfort zone. It's people. It's got people in it. And like realistic people. I do not usually like that. But I've been so enjoying this deck. It reads so well. It really is something that once you get it in your hands, it's just different than how it seems online. Not to say that it doesn't look good online by any means, but again, I never really would have given this one a try because it didn't seem like my style. Yet when you get it in your hands, just the, oh, look at that card. The way it reads, it's just so amazing. Again, this is another one I've just not put down since I got it, and I'm super excited to keep working with it. So that is the Super Lunaris Tarot. Now I think really quickly, before we wrap up here, I'm going to show my favorite deck mod, because I forgot to do that before, and that has to be the Boho Tarot mod I emulated of the Antique Anatomy. And so I modified this deck by following Dawn Michelle and how she added these book pieces, but then took it a little bit my own direction and added these really cool stickers I had to add my own symbolism into each of the cards, which was a lot of fun. And I just really love how it came out. Oh yes, so for example, this is the Two of Cups, and I put this little swan sticker because swans are birds that mate for life. So I just added in little things like that that I knew I would, you know, personally pick up on, which was really a lot of fun. I'm not even showing. I just really had such a blast doing this. It took an entire weekend, and I'd do it again because it just is so much fun. I'm planning on doing a full flip through where I can kind of explain what I added to each card and just show more of it, but I'm really excited about how this came out. So I think that is the last thing I have to show. Thank you so much for hanging out with me while I talked about my excitements from this month and, you know, looking at those things that add some brightness and sunshine to the world. Or to my world, I guess I should say. But other than that, I hope you all have a wonderful beginning to your week.